Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the first episode of my podcast, Your Universal Friend. My name is Paulo, and I would love to share with you my spiritual journey to become a better version of myself. I am not a spiritual guru, but I see myself as a very curious person with a special connection with the universe. So let me be your universal friend and join me on this exciting journey that I'm about to start. For this first episode, I would love to try to answer a question that I have asked myself since a very young age, and that is, why we humans come to Earth? It is not an easy question to answer. I think a pessimistic person might say that we come to suffer. It is true that we as humans tend to suffer a lot. It is not an easy world that we live in, and besides, we're not always surrounded by nice people. But can suffering be an objective? In that case, it sounds more like a punishment. I mean, we come to Earth to be punished. Personally, I don't like this pessimistic point of view. So, what could an optimistic person say? I think an optimistic person may say that we come to be happy. Though, this is a theory not many people may agree with, since we all suffer at some level. But at the same time, it is true that we all wish to be happy. So that might be the answer. We might come to Earth to be happy, or at least to try to be happy, right? On the other hand, I have already heard some extremists saying that we all come to Earth to die. Well, in some way that is true because we all agree we are all going to die someday. But can death be the objective of coming to Earth? Because if that is true, life would have no sense at all, right? How can destruction be the purpose of creation? I really don't like this theory. So I made a little research on internet trying to find a decent answer to this philosophical question, and I found that people answer in different ways. Some of them say that we may have come to experience love. Others say that we come to experience happiness. Some others to bring peace to the world or even to save the world. There are so many theories, and I think that all of them are right at some level. I guess we all have the right to have our own personal answer based on our own education, cultural background, and beliefs. So I am going to share with you my personal theory, a theory that resounds with my heart. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. So, if we come to Earth, it's because there is a reason. And when I say reason, I mean mission. The mission to evolve. I am obviously not talking about a physical evolution, but a spiritual one. So, I am certain that we come to this world because we have two major missions to accomplish. The first one is to evolve spiritually, and the second one is to help others evolve spiritually. Spiritual evolution seems to be a very complex subject because it really depends on the path of every single soul. However, it seems obvious to me that spiritual evolution can only be acquired through experience and learning. Indeed, I believe we come to Earth to learn, to learn to be grateful for what we have and for what we don't, to learn to respect ourselves, people, and nature, to love to be physically and mentally healthy, to learn to have a balanced life, to learn to be at peace in spite of our own problems, to learn to accept differences and find unity, to learn not to judge others or even ourselves, to learn to forgive people and to forgive ourselves as well for our own mistakes, to learn to ask for forgiveness, to learn that obsession for power destroys everything, to learn to be critical and not believe in everything that people or institutions tell us, to learn to be free and to overcome fear, to learn to understand that we have the right to dream because everything is possible, to learn to love unconditionally, to learn to be happy and optimistic in spite of all the suffering that surrounds us, to learn to be divine on earth. I guess it is very easy to make a to-do list of the lessons that we need to learn, but I guess it is not that easy to put into practice these concepts on a daily basis. So, how can we learn all these? Indeed, how can we learn to be grateful when we're surrounded by misery? How can we dare to dream when our families or our friends do not believe in us? How can we learn to be peaceful when we are surrounded by violence? How can we learn to forgive someone that has hurt us so much? How can we learn to be happy in a world that has programmed us to be constantly unsatisfied? How can we learn to love unconditionally in a system that teaches us to hate each other? This is where I am obliged, I guess, to conclude something that is quite difficult to accept. Similar to school, I suppose nobody is able to learn a lesson without a successful completion of a challenge or of a test. Indeed, if our lives were easy and perfect, we would never be able to learn anything. So these problems or difficulties or suffering we are going through are, I am afraid, necessary for us to learn our lessons. So the problems we go through are some kind of tests, or even better, they are amazing opportunities to grow and to learn to be a better person. This is why it is so important to be aware of this in order to avoid falling into the trap of uncontrollable depression. Another conclusion that I've been able to make is that we cannot escape the lessons we are supposed to learn in this life. What I mean is that as long as our lessons have not been learned, the same challenge or difficulty or problem will continue showing up over and over again until we decide to question ourselves, until we decide to question our lives, and until we realize that we have a lesson to learn out of this. This is why so many times we find ourselves confronted to the same situation, or to the same kind of people, or to the same kind of problem. I have to admit that at the beginning I kind of felt trapped, like I had no option but to go through these challenges. But then I realized that I had the option not to see this mechanism as a trap, because I don't think we're trapped. I don't feel trapped actually. I think we are free to make the decisions we want, free to evolve or not to. However, it should be clear for us that all our decisions have consequences that we will have to assume eventually. And it should also be clear that if we decide to take the path of spiritual growth, the universe, my friends, will undoubtedly fill us with beautiful surprises. So today I'm very happy. I'm happy to tell you that I have decided to accept the opportunity that life is giving me every day to grow spiritually. Indeed, I want to become the best version of myself. I want to be a soul who knows what love, happiness, and peace are, and share them with everyone and everything that surrounds me. So, beautiful souls, would you like to join me on my journey to discover my own spiritual path? If that's the case, I will be more than grateful. Thank you for your attention and your time. Have an amazing day. This is Paulo, your universal friend.